Well, good morning everybody, and welcome to the big rebuild project for this weekend. Sadly, about 2 years ago, I took time and did a lot of rebuilding. Well, every piece of drywall on the casa was stripped off, insulation was added, everything was made nice. The old aluminum case windows were taken out and beautiful double pane, argon filled low E windows were put back in place. And then sadly on February 21st, 2014, a drunk woman in Daddy's BMW ran into the corner of the house. She said she was drunk because she was mourning the death of her horse. Like, really? So now it's a year later and the rebuilding process is underway here. I've settled with the insurance companies basically. So it's time now to strip back this drywall, and to tell you the truth, I don't know what I'm going to find behind it, okay, because I haven't taken it off. And on this particular project, there's a special way we have to approach it, okay? Instead of working from the outside, we have to work from the inside and get everything rebuilt on the inside. And then when the time comes on the last thing we'll do is just put the new sheathing up on the outside. So hopefully we'll be able to cut away some of the existing wood in here. We have to be very careful. Well, I'll explain a little later on. I've had a year to think about things, but it's going to take some care to do stuff the right way, or else we're going to have more damage to the outside sheathing. And this is using 1950s redwood siding, and it's impossible to find it today. So I have to be very careful about things. So let's kick it off. I'll show you a picture, at least a picture of what we got here and what we're dealing with. All right, guys. Well, on February 21st of 2014, she came barreling down the street here and hit a truck parked on the other side, bounced off a Suburban also, and came here right across the lawn. Well, actually up here a little further, and you can see she took a lot of this bush out here. She went across the yard. You can actually still see some very faint tire tracks. And thank God I had this planter box here, because you can see the chunk of concrete that she took out of that, but this planter box saved so much of the house and stuff from being damaged, because it literally tore the front wheels off of her car. And a year later, you can still see some of the pulley system and some of the other shit from her car is still in here as a memento. And there's the corner. So she displaced the fences leaning back here and other stuff. Well, that's small cheese, you know, to get that done. That's no big deal. So I'm not going to pull away the sheathing, because the wood is just smashed in there, and Jen did a nice job making sure that this would be protected for the winter. So you get the lay of what happened. So let's go inside and talk about what we got to do. Okay, when her bumper hit the front, and we're looking at, this is the front of the house out here. When her bumper hit that corner of the house, thank goodness it was just the rubber bumper, so not a lot of force was transferred in, but it was enough to buckle the drywall here and displace a lot of the work that I had done. And I'll tell you, that was discouraging. So today I want to check to see where we're going to need to peel this back. I want to try to stage a 4-foot pieces of drywall. Bobby will probably be taking me down tomorrow to get that. So I want to be very careful where I cut the drywall back to. I don't want to just start hacking away. I want to have clean lines. You know, like here's a point right here where obviously probably had some drywall screws or something. So I got to figure out where they are and then cut them back. I'd like to try to, this molding is going to have to be spliced back in too. So I'm going to have to remove that. So I want to carefully score along there so I don't pull any of the paint off like was done down here. So I'm going to get started and figure out my score lines, get things done, figure out where, you know, where I need to cut this back over here. Sort of tipping my hand. I wasn't going to show any of the rebuild pictures. I was saving that for future, but this is after I stripped the drywall back. oh, I guess this was 2012, and I encountered a lot of termite damage, as you'll see here within the wall, because over here where the woman, there was a downspout coming down and a leaky roof, and she never bothered to do a bit of repair work, so I had a lot of termite damage in here. So you can see why I'm kind of discouraged. I mean, I did a nice rebuild job on that, got that all rebuilt nicely, and now I'm actually having to go back and tear a lot of that out. So, okay, just thought you might enjoy seeing a little bit of the past and just a little hint of the damage that I encountered and the reason why I picked this place up so cheap. Well, luckily I didn't have to end up cutting the molding, the baseboard molding, too far back, about 5 feet up this side. Got that cut back good. You can see the force of what it did on the impact. It just dicked this electric socket cover here. Remove the other one, so you can see in here some of the you can see the bottom support corner coming through there, and all that displacement. So now that we have that off, it's gonna be time to set up. This looks like the line here. I can still see a little bit of the existing, so I'm going to try to cut back on that line. There's plenty of meat. There's plenty of meat here on this corner. The thing I have to do is measure and make sure that's at least 4 feet. I don't want to get a piece that's going to be off size and have to do extra work. So I'm going to grab my trusty tape measure and take a few measurements. This ended up being about, we're going to take that to about 39 inches over there, so that's definitely not as wide as a piece of sheetrock at 48 inches, and we're also lucky on this side over here, coming from that corner, we're looking again at about, we'd cut that back about 41 inches, so far luck has been with us today, but who knows. It's time now to set our score lines and start removing and demoing the sheetrock. I'd like to try to have nice clean ends. It's going to be difficult. I got a nice new, some nice new blades for the box cutter. Got to be very careful and not to cut hands and things as things are sliding down. So I want to be awful careful on this part. Demo is always the most hazardous part. Plus we're working hot over here too with the electric. Okay, what I'm doing now is I've marked 39 inches over from the side, the corner there, and I've made some lines, and all I'm doing now is I'm just kind of connecting them up, and these are going to be my my cutback lines for trimming back the drywall. And like I said, that still allows enough room that I've got a shorter or less wide than a piece of sheetrock, and that's a awesome thing. So the score lines have been put on. Now I've got Big Max, my crowbar wrecker, and I got the 5-pound maul here. So we'll just get a general place started here. Try to do a line down until we hit one of the cross beams. And then we can sort of, the idea is we can kind of get in there and pull it off like that. And yeah, you can see where I've got the insulation in there. Yeah, and you can, oh yeah, that came away nice and clean. See that? Beautiful. That's exactly what we're looking for. So, oh, that'll give you a good workout too. So I'm gonna get it from this side, and this is why you want a real clean line down the side here, because you don't have to worry about you know, a good edge for re-putting your drywall back on. And I'll do the same thing Poor Jen is on a cleanup cruise today, huh? You would just sort of pull back from this side too, and you can just see how clean that sheet came off. And that's the way we do it, and it works out perfectly because I have a wonderful, well, I'll bring you in and show you. Whew. I have a wonderful surface to put the new drywall up on. So let me go ahead and finish pulling her out. This is why I tell you guys, cut carefully. You know, I must have a floor to ceiling to floor piece here. Yeah, well, I need to put a new ribbon. Let me just cut back that little bit of ceiling line there, and that piece is down, and that's great. All right, cut that ceiling bit off. And that's exactly the way I want it. So I will carry out this big ass piece, and basically there's not a lot more to carry around on that side. Alright guys, that finishes first stage demolition, and you can see the beauty of having pre-scored that drywall. Yeah, there's a couple little edges to be cleaned up, but it just went beautifully. And on all surfaces, we have beautiful nailing surfaces to put our new drywall up, so that's excellent. I'm going to take a coffee break, okay? And then when I come back, I'm going to get my mask on, my safety glasses, and we're going to pull the insulation out of here. That's the next thing that we have to do. And then tomorrow, when Bobby takes me down to the big box stick, we'll get the R19, you know, 6.5 inch deep batting, and we'll replace that tomorrow. I don't want to reuse this because stapling it down just generally sucks. So, okay, coffee break time.